Next article, Obama's Ramadan blessing. There is a whole lot of pretending going on in our world today. We have a federal judge ruling that the 5,000-year-old institution of marriage was biased and immoral from the start because of the way it discriminated unfairly against homosexuals. Well, he's homosexual too, so that really shouldn't surprise us. And we have a man in the White House who extols Islam for advancing justice, progress, tolerance, and the dignity of all human beings. In the blessing of the Muslim holiday of Ramadan, Barack Obama added that Islam is, quote, a faith known for its great diversity and racial equality. Racial equality. And that, tell a Jew that. Please, tell a Jew that. When they're commanded in the Quran to kill and slay Jews, to basically kill all infidels. And what is an infidel in the Islamic religion? It's a non-believer. It's exactly what it is. I've quoted those quotes many, many times. And then he goes on to say, and that essentially Islam has always been a part of America. Yeah, don't you remember when the Mayflower got here, Mike, and they had all those Islamic people on there, the jihadists? They came off the Mayflower. Well, let's look at this. Let's look at this a little bit closer. Brigitte Gabriel, or is it Brigitte? I'm not sure which way you pronounce it. But anyway, Brigitte Gabriel combats politically correct notions about the religion of peace in her book, They Must Be Stopped, Why We Must Defeat Radical Islam and How We Can Do It. Now, Sean Hannity's had her on a lot lately, interviewing her. And, I'll tell you, she's been there, done it. She knows a lot better than I do. Now, I can't say I was ever exposed to this from a religious standpoint growing up. This woman grew up with this. Now, the way this is written, I think this is her talking in this particular article. Sounds like her. Anyway, she says, I have more than a passing knowledge of Islam. That includes first-hand experience and a significant amount of study over the last 30 years. But somehow I must have missed the advancements of justice, progress, tolerance, and the dignity of all human beings. Honestly, I can think of none. Did I overlook the Reformation in religion that resulted in one genocide after another for the last 1,300 years that Islam put forth? The racial equality? Has the Quran been rewritten to exercise Muhammad's characterizations of blacks? Now listen, if anybody out there is black and think this is a great religion, because what do we got? Louis Farrakhan and Malcolm X and all those guys extolling Islam? Well, did you know that Muhammad's characterizations of blacks, he said they were, quote, ugly, quote, raisin heads, and, quote, pug-nosed slaves? Did you know that? Sure. We're going to look at some else. We're going to look at some other things too. Didn't it also say that in that book, that when Allah created the white man, he touched his right shoulder and he came out destined for paradise? But when he touched the left shoulder of the black man, he came out destined for hell? Did you know he said that? Sure. I can't believe anybody would be a black Muslim. I really can't. It's unbelievable to me that, they must really just keep them away from these verses and these teachings of Muhammad. They got to. It's the only way it can be possible. Who does Obama think sold all those millions of black Africans into slavery in Europe and America? Is he not aware that black slavery is still alive today in some Muslim countries in the Middle East? We just saw something the other day about that, where they will try to capture these guys. But yeah, we were watching this documentary recently, and it was a huge problem, still is a huge problem over there. Muslims of the Middle East variety, the non-black type, that literally will try to sell the blacks, steal them, certain ones, sell them into slavery. They go there, they rape the women. Then they kill them. They were in these villages, and they couldn't even go out to collect water. They couldn't even go outside their camp. They were in constant fear of their life. And this is this religion of tolerance, peace, and love.
Yeah, and this woman got out of it. And, she got tired of having to be fearful for her life everywhere she went. Yeah.
Yeah, so...
They show their face in public, they'll...
Yeah, they do. It's unbelievable. It is unbelievable what goes on over there. And I guess this is one of the reasons that this particular lady wrote this book, and the reason I'm doing these teachings is because we really need to expose this darkness. It is evil, it's dark, and it needs to be reproved and exposed and made manifest or brought to life. And this is what the Bible commands us to do. We're supposed to reprove the unfruitful works of darkness and have no fellowship with them. Well, a lot of people don't understand. They think, Islam is this, for the most part, this wonderful religion of peace. And it's not. It's not. The thing is there's moderate and, let's say, more of the liberal variety of Muslims. What those Muslims are is they're not fundamental. They're not fundamentalists, meaning they're not fundamental to the faith of Islam. But if they were reading their Quran and interpreting it correctly, and it's real easy to interpret, they should be going out and killing infidels and plotting against, anyone that is not of the Muslim faith. That's what the Quran commands them to do, and a lot of other Islamic writings as well. They're just not being fundamental to their faith. So that's the difference. Then let's talk about justice. Talk to me about it after you've finished reading the stoning of Surah M, which is you can look that up. The stoning of Surah, Soriahm. Progress. Can you name for me one major scientific or social advancement we can historically and accurately attribute to Islam? Tolerance. I quote to you from, I believe this is the Quran. It says, "O you who believe, do not take the Jews and the Christians for your friends. They are friends of each other. And whoever amongst you takes them for a friend, then surely he is one of them. Surely Allah does not guide the unjust people." So again, we're lumped into the unbelievers and friends of Jews, and if we're not a believer in Islam. Today, imams in the Middle East and elsewhere still quote Muhammad's hadith as their current marching orders, which says, quote, "The hour or the day of resurrection will not arrive until you fight the Jews, until a Jew will hide behind a rock or a tree, and the rock and the tree will say, 'O Muslim, servant of Allah, there is a Jew behind me. Come and kill him.'" End of quote. That's right from the Muhammad's hadith. I mean, we're quoting everything here. Dignity of all human beings is Islam. In Islam, Muslim males have a higher worth than any others. A Muslim man can have up to 4 wives, beat them, and charge them as he pleases. Now, there was that big court case recently where the guy had forced himself on his wife, and this and that, and they said he was innocent because, according to the Muslim faith, there has to be 4 male witnesses. 4 male witnesses of what? You raping your wife? And you think that any of them are going to turn... I mean, I would think the women